Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Coach Paul Tortorella Show. This is Jack Benedict, and we talk IUP football, coming off the big win over Shippensburg last Saturday, and it's time for the playoffs, and that's always good to see, and we'll talk about that coming up. And it is, Coach, you know, we shouldn't take it for granted. Last year didn't make the playoffs, but 19 times IUP's been in NCAA tournament. That's fourth in the country among all the schools. So a credit to you guys, the coaches, the players. You had a great year, and you were ready to play, and so here we go.
Well, yeah, you know, the interesting thing about the number of times, we'll probably end up getting at least a second in the country eventually, because 2 of the 4 teams in front of us are now in Division I. So Northwest Missouri is the only Division II team in front of us. So that talks about the tradition,
sure,
you know, and the standard of excellence here in the football program. And we knew that we had to go out on Saturday and play a good game and come back with a win to obviously get in the playoffs. And I think we're playing pretty good right now, but I still think our best football's in front of us.
Let's talk about the opposition. Shepherd, you guys finished 4th, they finished 5th. This was no real surprise. We pretty much figured everything was stand pat last weekend. That's who it was going to be.
Yeah, we looked at it and it was we were pretty sure. Obviously, we had to beat Shippensburg, but it looked like we were going to play Shepherd. So this isn't a surprise. We've seen them on film a couple times anyway. Matter of fact, last week we watched a lot of the Shippensburg game for Shippensburg. You know, and obviously, I watch all 3 phases, so I basically seen a lot of Shepherd last week also. And they do some things very similar to what Shippensburg does. Shippensburg's offensive coordinator used to be the offensive coordinator at Shepherd. So there's some carryover, which would be good for our defense. But Shepherd's playing real well, 7 wins in a row. They're 5-0 on the road. Their 2 losses, they got beat at the end of the game in the 4th quarter. So they're probably as talented as anybody we're going to play this year.
Mm-hmm. Mention to the fans who are listening, you had mentioned to me the great start that they got off to in that first quarter.
I don't know if there's a statistic for it, but I would be willing to say they're probably the best first quarter team in the country, because every time we look at the breakdown of quarters by games, it seems like it's 14-0 after the first quarter every game. So it'll be important that we get off to a good start on, you know, both sides of the ball and in the kicking game.
You look at when you look at teams that make the playoffs, there are just unbelievable stats everywhere. They have an outstanding young quarterback. He's a sophomore, I guess, Badgett.
Yeah.
Good running back, 1,000 yards. Good receiver, 1,000 yards. This is no surprise, though, because when they're looking at IUP, they're looking at, hey, wait a minute, they have some pretty good stats, too.
Right. They're similar to us offensively. Quarterbacks can throw it. They've got a great running back. We've got 2 great running backs and a third that we put in there, on 3rd down. They have 4 wideouts and a tight end that they throw the ball to, much like us. So, you know, offensive line, solid. They've got a real big tight end that can get vertical in the pass game. So offensively, they mirror us a little bit. Scheme-wise, actually, they mirror us a little bit too. Defensively, a lot of great athletes. They get after the quarterback. I think over 30 sacks this year. That's how they stop the pass, really, is they put so much pressure on the quarterback. That's a big part of their pass defense. Mm-hmm. And they're real active at linebacker and really good on special teams because they got a lot of great athletes.
You know, when you take a look at the Shippensburg game, it's strange. We talked last week how you can win football games in different ways. You had no yards rushing now all of a sudden, but the running game, and Samir Bullock did a great job for you. The young kid, Adam Hauser, was nice to see, you know, back in his hometown. But the offensive line, you got to credit them with what they did, right?
Right. Oh, yeah. We only had 2 runs that were not 3 yards or more. And then we had 3 or 4 big runs. Samir had 2 of them. Justice had 1. And then Adam Hauser had 1. So, you know, we did a really good job in the run game. I thought our offensive coaches had a great game plan, took advantage of some things that we saw on film, and then we threw the ball very well, hit a lot of big passes. And then once we got the, you know, pretty good lead, you know, we did a good job running the ball in the last quarter. Obviously, the long touchdown run. But I thought offensively, we had a great plan, and I thought our coaches did a great job.
A key to that game was the fake punt. Describe how all that came about, because that really, I mean, that really escalated the game
Right.
for you.
It's 27-10 right there. You know, it's 11 minutes to go in the third quarter. We got stopped on their 36. And it was 4th and 6. And, you know, we were surprised that we got the look. We thought they'd be in punt safe. So we, you know, ran it because we got the look that we wanted. And the two guys that had to blocked it perfect. And Brandon did a good job with the ball. Really good, Brandon Myers. So it was there, but we had to execute it, and we did a good job of executing it.
So who makes the call there?
Well, you know, we have a up back, Damon Lloyd, that looks at it, and if we get the look we want, you know, we alert to it, and we figured it wasn't worth, you know, it was worth it on their 36. If we get the look and they even stop us, it's not a big deal. If we don't get the look, then we'll just, you know, punt. So it was good execution by everybody.
Overall, when you take a look, a lot of people had to score well for you. I mean, from this offensively and defensively, except for a couple of things maybe with the extra point. I know the one was the exchange. There was a problem, wasn't it?
We got to get that cleaned up. With just our operations not good. I mean, it's just the rhythm and the operations off right now, and that's probably the one thing in the kicking game that we really got to get squared away this week, is the PAT field goal operation. You know, we had a big play with the fake punt. We also had a long kickoff return and a good punt return. And then we had 3 guys score 2 touchdowns, JoJo, Samir, and Justice. So it was a good all-around effort. Quentin made a couple throws that he got away with that probably should have been intercepted, and then he missed Dom on a double move. He was wide open. He just kind of overthrew him and didn't put enough air under it. But he made 3 or 4 throws in some tight windows where there were 2 or 3 guys there for Shippensburg, and he just put it the only place you could put it. A couple throws over the middle to Dom, another throw on a slant route to JoJo. They weren't really that wide open, but he threaded the needle a couple times.
It was good that you got action for Dwayne Brown and for Ronye Mitchell, get them incorporated, you know, and get them ready for what's to come.
Yeah, Ronye made a good play early in the game on a counter down in the red zone, and then on 3rd down, we made a play to force a field goal. But he made a really good play on 2nd down to force them to pass on 3rd down. And Dwayne, you know, he only had really 2 opportunities. He took it out and made the guy miss and ran it down to, I think, the 8-yard line, a 25-yard gain on a 4-yard pass. But we knew we weren't going to, you know, he wasn't going to play much. We didn't have him, you know, really featured in the game plan. We used Naz Streeter as the punt returner. So, you know, we kind of felt like if we needed to get a couple plays out of him, we could. I think he'll be 100% this week, so that was good that we could get out of there without using him that much.
And you didn't have to use Jeff Arnold. I know he's chomping at the bit, but that extra week now should really help him, shouldn't it?
Absolutely, and Colin Petropola played great at center. He's one of our players that gamed on offense. He really played very well. You know, he's smart. He knows what to do. He's not a killer by any stretch of the imagination, but he just does what he needs to do to help us win games.
How about some of the other guys maybe you want to mention that's, you know, that you mentioned about somebody that's overlooked as a center maybe? You know?
Yeah, well, I think our whole line played very well. I thought our inside guys played really well. You know, we're playing 3 guys inside now with McAllister, Robinson, and Doberman. So we've got a little depth there that helps. We played 3 tackles. And they played, you know, fine. We only gave up 1 sack. So, you know, when you run for over 300 yards and you only give up 1 sack, your offensive line's probably playing pretty good.
All right, I'll go back to the old line, the keys to the game here with IUP and Shepherd. We've played 4 times. They've won 3 different times. They've been a power in their league, and now they come to the, you know, to the PSAC. There are so many similarities here. It's going to come down to just the nitty-gritty, isn't it?
Well, even if you look at the last 4 games, which really don't mean anything, but they've all been, you know, kind of one-score games. When we beat them in 2012, you know, we were only up 20-17, and we scored late to go up 10 to win it. So, I think special teams will be huge because they're very good on special teams. I think that could be a major component of the game. And I still think even though they've got tons of yards throwing the ball, they still have a really good running back that has over 1,000 yards rushing. I think we'll be in trouble if we don't stop the run. Offensively, I think we have to run the ball, and we got to win the turnover ratio because that'll play a big factor in the game also.
When you go back to the 2017 team, and you look at this team, and we don't always like to make comparisons, but I'm looking at it from a depth perspective. Right. Looks like, now you had a lot of guys you could rotate on that defensive line,
right?
But Coach Leonard seems to be incorporating them now. This team has some pretty good depth, though, your team.
And he does, the job he does with rotating his 4 down guys, I don't know how he does it. Monday morning he gives me a sheet, how many plays his guys played, and it's broken down, and the starters are playing like 70% of the plays, and the backups are playing like 30%. That's kind of really what you want. Mm-hmm. Getting Mitchell back helped us inside. Now, Will Mayer may not be playing this week, so Shockley's going to have to play both inside and outside. Puffenbarger's going to have to play more at defensive end.
Would you get Heasley back?
And Heasley still, we're hoping to get him back. If we can get him back, that'll help. So, I think he does a great job rotating our defensive line. We're doing a good job, Coach Camp, rotating the offensive line, keeping them fresh. Coach Box and Coach Barker with the running backs and the wide receivers, the way we rotate them is really good. Our starters are over average at about 45 plays a game. You talk about Samir and Justice Saturday. Samir had 11 carries and Justice had 7 carries. So you had all that production, but together they only ran the ball 18 times. And Justice, he had the big catch in the pass game for the touchdown. Great call by Coach Gregory. Had it set up. We faked the screen. Justice goes out to block the corner, fakes the block, and goes down the sideline. They lost him. They were in man coverage, and they made a mistake. But he did a great job after the catch. He had to make 2 guys miss down in the red zone to finish the play for a touchdown, even though he was wide open. So the more we get those 2 guys the ball, we're getting the ball to Joe in the pass game. We're getting the ball to Dom. We're getting the ball to Dwayne. We're getting Carter the ball a little bit. He's really dangerous with the ball in his hands. We need to get a little more production from our tight ends. Watts had a big play on a 3rd and 10, 15-yard gain. Great throw by Quentin. Put it in between 3 guys, and it was a really good catch by Watts. I think we're getting better, and we're playing enough guys to keep everybody fairly fresh. So we're ready to go.
Well, being a defensive guy that you've been all these years, it's nice to see you incorporated in the secondary a lot of these true freshmen.
Right.
So they're no longer freshmen. I mean, they've played 11 games here.
And we played about 6-7 games with Haynes as a true freshman at Star. Now we're playing Dreyer there. He's playing really well. He's a junior, but he's a first-year player for us. Nas is a junior. He's a first-year player for us. He's playing as good as anybody in the league at corner. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's making plays, in the run game. He had another interception. He had another pass breakup. He's probably playing as good as anybody in the league.
He's returning.
And, he's only a junior, but he's got a lot of experience because he played for 2 years at CW Post. So we're getting, and then, the 2 linebacker, Damon Lloyd may have played the best game of his career Saturday. And he's played a lot of great games.
I was going to say, that's some statement.
He was all over the field, in the run game, in the pass game, blitzing. It looked at times like he was playing at a totally different speed than everybody else.
Well, Tord, I think about, when you say that, I think about the play that he made downfield.
Oh, yeah.
They get a big play, and here's number 50 downfield making the play.
Yep. We had one run come out because we did a good job in the run game, but they did have a 29-yard run. We missed a couple tackles. He made another play downfield on a pass that was caught, and then he made a great play on a screen. JR forced it, funneled it back in. It looked like it was going to break, and he came out of nowhere. And I'm surprised the guy didn't fumble because the guy never seen him, and it was a very physical tackle at the point of attack. So he was all over the field.
Well, it's fun to watch, that's for sure. We hope the fans will turn out. noon kickoff is what we're looking at.
Right.
And it's playoff time, and it's it's great to be back in again. You got a great opponent.
Right.
That's all we really need to say. Show up, people.
Yeah. Well, the thing that's interesting, I looked at Shepherd's box scores, and their last game Saturday, they had 5,000 people there. I think they're averaging 4,500 for all their home games. So they'll fill up they'll bring, they travel well. They'll have that whole visitor side full, if not more. When you look at their attendance, they really draw very well. They've got a big community that backs them up. So hopefully we'll get the same thing from our community.
I thought you had pretty good representation.
Oh, we had great
Ship.
representation at Shepherd. At Ship, we filled the whole side, and they were loud.
Yeah.
Our kids, could feel our fans on our sideline. And good things were happening, so they were very loud. So it'll be a good atmosphere because, like I said, Shepherd will bring a big group here for our game. If you go by what they draw at home, like I said, I think they're averaging 4,500 at home. So, and we've played there before at Shepherd in front of really big crowds, more than 5,000. So it'll help us if we can get a big crowd Saturday.
All right. Hey, good luck, Torch.
Thanks, Jack.
Keep it going. Come on out, fans, and cheer, okay? That's the thing. We want to get you going. It should be a great matchup. IUP Shepherd, the playoffs are here for Saturday. Get your tickets. For the coach, this is Jack Benedict. Have a nice evening.